What's up? It is Monday, November 14th, 2022. Yeah, week 10. Some crazy games, dude. Really fun. I had a lot of fun watching. Every year there is a certain week where all the games were like crazy and they're like multiple overtime games and last minute drives and all that. And week 10 was definitely that. It was definitely like the closest I think we are going to get to a perfect Sunday slate of games. I think it was the best football since the divisional round last year. Well, this year, technically. Yeah, it was fun. My back feels like a 50-year-old's, and I'm only 19. I'm going to be 20 in 3 months and 12 days. And this is what I do. Oh, I just got a notification. NFL posted breaking down Justin Jefferson's catch of the year with Brian Baldinger. Fuck yeah, it was the catch of the year, and it was the game of the year. And we're going to go over it right here. To start off, Seattle, Tampa Bay. The Bucs did everything I said. International Brady. That's what he did. He became international sensation. He'll divorce his wife in one country and win a football game in the other. Dude, that's the only Tom Brady could do that. You know, the Buccaneers, what did they do? What did I say? They ran the ball. They listened to me, man. They fucking listened to me. And they stuck with it. They didn't just do like, oh, we're going to run the ball a little bit, and then we're going to stop, and then we're not going to ever go back to it if we only get like 2 yards. No, when they got the 3 yards, when they got the 4 yards, when they got the tough yards, they kept going. They kept sticking with it, and then eventually they broke off the big runs, and that's what happens. Brady was protected. The Bucs defense, they took away the middle of the field and let Geno try and scan the field. They didn't let him get to his first read. So that was big. And the Buccaneers, they did the simple things too. They didn't have any drops, I don't think. I think they may have had like one by Godwin. Yeah, they protected Brady and they ran. They ran the ball. All the things that I said that they needed to do, they did. Kenneth Walker didn't do shit. He didn't get shit. The heartbeat of that offense we saw is the reason that they're able to score so many points is because of Kenneth Walker. And when you take him out of the game like they did, they're not able to do a whole lot. You know? Kenneth Walker, you got stuffed like a turkey's asshole in about 2 weeks. Yeah, Thanksgiving came early for Tampa Bay, but not for Byron Leftwich, as he called one of the worst plays I've ever seen in my life.
Fournette, he is going to throw it to Brady. Oh, and Brady slips and he's picked up by Tariq Woolen. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Oh, boy. He just put
the Bucs were moving, and a flag comes out.
You know, Brady is like old to the point where I get scared that he's going to, like, his season's over if he's going to get hit or if he just falls. Like on that play, I thought Brady tore his ACL, and that's why he slipped, because he just ran. He can't run. He's like 48. It's like 58 years old, 65, something like that. But, like, it's kind of funny, but I got scared because, like, if Brady goes down, it's like, you know it's over. He's not coming back. Guy's literally an injury away from retiring. Yeah, that was a terrible play call, though. I don't know what the fuck Leftwich was thinking. I don't know if Brady thought the same way, but hey, give credit to Geno, though. You know, he made it a game, Lockett TD, and then Goodwin TD in the back of the end zone, corner. But the run game was just too much for the defense to stop, and that's the thing that I said about Seattle that you can do on them is run the ball. You're able to run the ball on them. You know, like that's one of probably their biggest weakness as a team. And on defense, they get takeaways and like they're able to stop teams a little bit, but if you're able to run the ball, their pass rush slows down. Like it counteracts everything else that they want to do, and it definitely changes their defense and it makes them very vulnerable. That's the case with any defense, really. But yeah, but Tampa Tom became Brady Germany, and I wouldn't be surprised if he just stayed in Munich and just got laid because he could. He honestly could. He's Tom Brady, dude. Fucking pull out his Super Bowl ring. His German girls piss themselves, dude. Fucking in their little piggy bank cars and BMWs breaking down on the fucking Autobahn on the way to the stadium. Because NFL shut that shit down. Took over Munich for a day. For a week, really. It was crazy. Heard it was like crazy. The international fans are big. NFL runs deep. But Tampa Bay 160 rushing yards, and Seattle had 283 total yards. So that tells the story there. Honestly, I would have, if you just showed me that stat, I would have been like, oh yeah, Tampa Bay won. And they did. They did. Chris Godwin finally got in the end zone. Cleveland, Miami. Miami's another team, dude. They ran the ball, ran it great. I want to say Miami's probably the most complete team in the AFC. Even though they may not be the best, they're close. Record-wise, they're right there with Kansas City. I don't know if they are the best, but I do think they're the best competition to Kansas City and Buffalo. I mean, they've kind of taken the reign of the top team, taking the crown as the top team, so we'll see how that works out. But Mostert and Wilson, Hill and Waddle, even Sherfield, Gesicki, like, they spread the ball around. They spread the ball around as good as any team. And the one thing that they improved on, Jacoby Brissett didn't have any time. I mean, the whole game, that's what really caught my eye. Offense looked great. It always does, but the defense looked lights out. Every time I looked, when Brissett dropped back to pass, it was Chubb in his face. It was fucking, what's his name? Jalen Phillips in his face. It was Bradley Chubb and Christian Wilkins. It was absolute chaos in that backfield. Every time I looked, Brissett had nowhere to go. He had no time, absolutely no time, and that was the most impressive thing I think of that game for Miami. And I thought the game honestly would be closer. I picked Miami to win, but I thought it was going to be a close shootout, like 30-27. I believe that was my exact pick on Instagram. But yeah, they got blown out. It wasn't even close. Cleveland doesn't really have the ability to come back. Really, just the ability to sustain drives with passing the ball consistently. They really only got one guy that gets open consistently, and that's Amari Cooper, and he didn't do anything as he's done on the road. Raheem and Jeff combined for 184 yards and 2 touchdowns, and that was the story. And I said in my preview episode on Saturday, if there was one game that Miami was going to try and run the ball, it would probably be this one, and I was right. No surprise, they try and beat Cleveland at their own game, and Cleveland's defense is decimated. They're really just not that good. But yeah, tough break. But Minnesota Buffalo, I mean, come on, game of the year, catch of the year. It had so many marks. It had so many plays of the year, moments of the year. It was incredible. Without a doubt, Vikings do not win that game without Justin Jefferson. That was an MVP, and MVP kind of performance. I mean, that performance individually, it clears any individual performance ever put on by any player this year and multiple years, I think. That was the greatest performance of the season by any player, hands down. And it was just based off when they needed him to come through, how he came through, and the cherry on top was that 4th and 18, just that little snag. Dude, he lifted his arm up as high as it can go, and he jumped as high as he could jump. And it was contested. Guy draped all over him. Cam Lewis, I think. I mean, I can't even find the appropriate words for it. Watching that, I was starstruck. But Kirk Cousins was trying to give that. Dude, he was trying to hand the Bills the win. Like, he was throwing interceptions. Like, he was just like, "Oh, here, take the ball. I don't even want it. I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm making $230 million every minute I breathe. Just take it. Fuck do I care what happened?" No, he switched it up. He came through when he needed to, and honestly, that's really what makes the difference. In the end, if you're able to get chances again and you're able to come through, that's all people will remember you by, and that's the only thing that really matters at the end. And as far as the Bills go, 2 straight losses and 3 straight games where Josh Allen has multiple turnovers. And it's been like that consistently coming off of last year. They've had games that were close that they really arguably should have won. And it was kind of caused by the differences were really Josh Allen and turnovers. And, it's kind of the same old story, and it's something that's kind of becoming a tendency. So it is concerning, honestly. It's not like one of those things where it's like, oh, they'll fix it. Josh Allen's kind of always been like that. Going back to his rookie year, going back to 2019, he's always been like that. Like he will make certain plays where you just scratch your head and you're just like, dude, what the fuck is he doing? Like, but I've heard this come out of Jason Garrett's mouth. I've heard this come out of Peter Schrager this morning. Your greatest strength could also be your greatest weakness, and it's evident with Josh Allen, and it's tough. I feel for him though, because he looked really upset after the game, and the Bills' defense too banged up, really really banged up in the secondary. Up front, they got some injuries, and that you're able to run on them. That's something that they have struggled with the past few weeks. Dalvin Cook had a huge run. Obviously, their pass defense it's pretty bad. They improved running the ball, it looked like, and then they found another problem, and then that's playing sloppy with Josh Allen. And, the fumble at the end, I mean, it's absolute chaos. Like, so much shit happened in this game. Like, I can't even, I'm trying to think of so much. The fumble was like, I've never seen that. Dude, it happens a lot, more often than I think. Like, when you're at the one and you kind of need to sneak it out of there due to situation, and that's never happened. Like, that is insane. And the Bills, they just rely on Josh Allen too much. I feel like that is the one thing that you can say about Buffalo, that I believe in them. They're gonna have these chaotic games and shit, but it's kind of how they've established their identity. Playing a little reckless, but yeah, I think aside from the obvious, like playing bad, sloppy, they rely on Josh Allen. They rely on Josh a little too much, yeah. As for Minnesota, wow. I mean, that was impressive as a game as I've ever seen. And I honestly did not know how much I believed in them. I was thinking they were good, but I didn't think they were for real. Well, throw that thought out the fucking door. Throw it out the door. Put it in, mix it with dog shit. Put it in a Whole Foods bag, because fuck that place. And run it over with a Mack truck, because I don't think that way anymore. I believe in them 1,000%. Vikings are for real. They are a real team. It is going to be interesting to see how the playoffs shake out. Josh Allen, over the past 3 games, 6 interceptions, and he's fumbled 3 times over 3 games. 2 picks in each of the last 3. It's bad. It's just bad. He's not playing good, but it's Josh Allen. I'm obviously giving him the benefit of the doubt. It's hard to win in this league. Shit happens. They'll be fine, I think. Houston Giants. I think the Giants played their best game offensively. It wasn't the most points that they've scored, but I think it was their best game offensively, I think. Saquon had 35 carries, bro. 35 carries. That's the same age as Zac Efron and Miles Teller, Kendrick Lamar, Tim Tebow. That's also the amount of TikToks that I received by the same people in one day. And they're always out of pocket. But they're hilarious. And 35 is also the age that most men start to lose their hair. And that'll be Saquon by 28 if the Giants keep handing him the fucking ball, stressing him out, giving him 30 carries. You can't do that. I know, but that is the formula that works. But it's a lot on a guy that's had multiple injuries and season-ending injuries the past few years. But he looks to be great. He looks to be amazing. And it's remarkable. And I just want to say this about the Giants. The Giants staff, fat-ass W. I knew Daboll would save the Giants, and I had a good feeling about him, because what he was able to do with Josh Allen in his first 2 years, he was able to get the most out of the offense when he was still growing. He wasn't fully there yet. He didn't really hit his mark till 2020, but he got the most out of that offense, I feel like, with a really, really raw quarterback. I mean, he was a tremendous play designer, and I thought he brought an identity to the Giants. He's leaning on their strengths as long as they'll run with him, and it's very impressive. Very impressive. Daniel Jones had a 153.9 passer rating, 153. Dude, that was how old I thought Queen Elizabeth's fucking husband was, dude. I mean, that's a high number. That's a high ass number. And that guy looked like about dead when he was still alive. R.I.P. Darius Slayton, dude, I think the Giants found a receiver. Darius Slayton looks like the guy. Every time they call his number, he shows up, and he did it big last game on Sunday. And the defense keeps getting takeaways. And the most important part is they just keep winning. They just keep finding a way. Keep finding a way to win. As for Houston, I mean, Dameon Pierce looked good, looked the same. That's about all that Houston has going for them. Davis Mills, I mean, he was god-awful to say the least. The shit that fans look forward to is when Dameon Pierce touches the ball, and everything else is they can look away. So, but, you know, Giants fans, New York, New Jersey, they're smiling. The citizens of the tri-state are feeling good. They're feeling good. The Giants' the best start since '08. To put that in perspective, I was 5 years old. I was in kindergarten, and I thought my teacher was very attractive, but I didn't know what those feelings were yet, so I didn't say anything. But a good game. Good game. Saquon was amazing, as he always is. The Giants, they're for real. The Giants are a real team. They're legit. And it's crazy. It's honestly crazy. Dude, how about the NFC East and the AFC East? Bro, Miami is first. And the Bills aren't even second. The Jets are second because they beat the Bills last week. It's chaotic. The Giants, any other year, the Giants would be far and ahead first place. But the East, something about the East this year. They just want to be the best, and they are. It's crazy. The West is what everyone thought was going to be the greatest, and usually has been, and they're the bottom of the barrel. A few more games to get really quick. Rams-Cardinals. Cooper Kupp had an injury. He's expected to miss a few weeks. He avoided the worst-case scenario, though, is what's being said. So that's good. It was a battle of the backups. I didn't watch anything. I didn't want to. Colts-Raiders. It was a good one for Arizona, though. They needed it. Colts-Raiders. JT is back. Matt Ryan's back. Jeff Saturday's a coach. The Colts are the weirdest team this year, hands down, by far. I had them to go deep in the playoffs. It ain't looking like that. I mean, the way they played Sunday, they definitely look good. But Jeff Saturday gets his first dub as a head coach. Impressive. Derek Carr, after the game, he had an emotional press conference. I'm going to show that right now.
That a lot of us try and do just to practice what we put our bodies through just to sleep at night. And for that to be the result of all that effort pisses me off. Pisses a lot of guys off. It's hard knowing what some guys are doing. Like I said, just to practice what they're putting in their body just to sleep at night. Like just so we can be there for each other. And I wish everybody in that room felt the same way about this place. And as a leader, that pisses me off.
And, I feel for him. I love Derek Carr. He's one of my favorite players, quarterbacks, hands down in the league. And I feel like he deserves. Personally, I think Derek Carr, he needs to get traded. I think that the best thing for him, just kind of like Stafford, he's about to be 31. I'm pretty sure Derek Carr's about to be 31. It's in his best interest, I think, in the team's best. I know they kind of got resurgence with and he doesn't have to. I don't know if he will. I don't know if that even is the best move, but maybe they can fix this. Maybe give McDaniels a full offseason with the new GM and let him do his thing. But it's kind of just the same old story on defense. And the team, it was a playoff team last year. And, Gruden, if he was here, he'd be winning with this team. He would be. And you really can't argue with that. But I really hope Carr just gets what he deserves, and that's a Super Bowl sooner or later. Green Bay, Dallas. Prescott, man, he was on fire in the first half, throwing dots to the other team. he was ass in the first half. But not shitting on him. It's just a joke. He was threw picks. He was trying to give Green Bay an early Christmas present with that first half performance. Green Bay actually looked good. They actually looked like they had juice in them, and they were gonna run away with this. And then they were like, oh, they went back to sucking dick again. And it was like, what the hell? And then they woke up. They were in and out of consciousness, and then they woke up. All of a sudden, they boom, take one terrorist out, machete 360 to your head. You're dead. Just like Andrew Tate said. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers played his best game. I think the offense, it was easily the Packers' best game of the season. They had a great performance against one of the best defenses in the league. They fucking woke up, man. They ran the ball for 200 yards, right? If I'm not mistaken. It was explosive. And Christian Watson, he has to feel like he just conquered the world. You got to give him his credit. After that drop in week 1, it was kind of like they just fizzled him out, and I hated that. I hated that they did that, but they didn't throw him the ball, but they decided to this game, and it worked out well because he is a good receiver, and I did think that he was going to be the guy coming into the season. It only took 9 weeks. Sometimes that happens, but what else? Wanted to get into the McCarthy fourth down call. That was something that I watched Colin Cowherd's instant reaction on the volume last night, and he said, and I didn't really agree with the call to begin with. I didn't agree with the play call, that is, not necessarily going for it, but he said, I wouldn't trust my defense either after what they were doing that whole game. It's like, and I agree, yeah, he's got a point. I 100% agree, because think about it. You kick the field goal, you're either giving them the ball if you miss it, or you're giving them the ball if you make it, and they still have a chance. So why do that when you could go for it, and it's either you give the ball or you keep the ball going and you run the clock out and you take the lead. You could arguably say that they're just going to go down and score. That was probably going to happen if they went for it and they got it, but because both offenses were going crazy. CeeDee Lamb had the game of his career so far. It was a great game. It was really, dude, every game was great, but I mean, yeah, that call, I don't disagree with it. I maybe disagree with the play call, but that's subjective, I guess, but tough. It was either one's game. Aaron Rodgers looked like Aaron Rodgers. They might be back. They got a big game on Thursday night, short week against Tennessee, so we'll see. Sunday night football, that was a tough battle with two teams that really needed it. The Chargers were decimated. Dude, it was the refs versus the Niners. I'm going to keep it real. Missed face mask, ejecting Greenlaw. I understand the penalty, but to eject him, how are you gonna eject someone with the last name Greenlaw? That doesn't even seem fair. Like, I feel like if you're the ref, you need to be ejected for doing that, bro. He literally has law in his last name. It doesn't even sound right. You become a runner. You're a quarterback, I know, but you become a runner, especially when you're diving. It's like Greenlaw is just trying to make a play. He's going full speed. He doesn't know that Herbert's gonna go down. It just happened to be that they went down at the same time and they collided. It's like, maybe I can understand the penalty, but to eject him is like, that's insane. That is insane. In New York, the reviews are able to, counter that. If they're able to have a say in that, and they determined that it was an ejection, and I don't understand. But aside from that, the Chargers had a plan. They started hot with a touchdown. They got a big takeaway by defense, and they blocked the punt. And sometimes, with a lot of times people think like, oh, they're going to come in and they're going to get blown out. But that's not how it works when teams are injured and stuff. They find ways to work around that, and they go to their best player that they have available, and they're able to scheme things up and keep it close, running the ball, aggressive on defense, which is what they were. They were trying to stop the run, which they did sometimes, but then eventually it caught up to them, and they weren't able to run the ball themselves against the number one run defense in the 49ers. And give them credit, though. The Chargers were down their top 3 receivers, their top offensive tackles, 3 defensive tackles, cornerbacks. But eventually San Fran is just good at running the ball. Eventually San Francisco is going to get the run game going. The aggression's going to come back. Kittle's going to get involved. Debo's going to get involved, and they're going to start steamrolling again, and that's what happened. Eckler had 6 rushes for 24, and they had a total of 51 as a team on only 16 attempts, and the Niners had 41 rush attempts. So you could see it's totally lopsided there. And they were 6 for 16 on third down, the Chargers. So they kept it close. You got to give them credit. Everything was going right for them. They were doing everything that they could. And but the Niners came through eventually. Their defense had a shutout in the second half. So credit that Niner defense. They're still injured. They're really still not at full strength. They've had injuries to corner, and their D-line is decimated in the middle. They have their top 3 starters, just like the Chargers, out. Interesting looks on the front to get pressure on Garoppolo and stop the run game and make him get the ball out quick, but they came through. The Niners, they go to Mexico City next week, and they'll have Arizona, and the Chargers got Kansas City, so, I mean, they're going to need all the help they can get. I think they're going to get Allen and Mike Williams back next week, maybe. Maybe one of them, or maybe both, but 2 big games coming up for playoff hopefuls. But yeah, that's about it. We got all those games covered. Didn't cover every game, but got through most. And great week 10. New vid coming up soon on film for a player. I did a Damian Pierce vid last week. It got it's hitting 12K. Hit 12K today. So thank you so much for that. If you subbed off of that video, thank you. And if you're watching this, stay tuned. More vids coming. Thanks so much. See you.